What up, Boiler Nation? We are live after a hell of a game against Grambling State, winning 78-50 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Everybody, a collective deep breath. Okay, we got that out of the way. That's a big start to get this monkey off their back, and they did just that. Pretty great game all around. Edie played well, of course, and the supporting cast did pretty well too. So yeah, Frank, how we feeling?
Yeah, man. I feel good, Dylan. Feel really good. Um, we were talking at halftime, and I kind of hypothesized that there's maybe some nerves going on, and that they would come back out in the second half and kind of put the game away, and that's exactly what we saw. So, yeah, it's feeling good, feeling like the team's got that kind of monkey off their back, which sounds crazy to say, being a number one seed, but yeah, just on to the next one.
Yeah, man, it was stressful. The first half was a little too close than we all wanted, but that second half was incredible and some great plays. I mean, you had the Cam Heidi alley oop dunk, which was electric, and the fact that we got a walk on three at the end. I mean, what else could you ask for? Yeah, I did. Um, I called into the OHIO pod at halftime because they're doing their live call-in show. So I called in for a little halftime update, and I told them I was very nervous
Yeah,
because we're
yeah.
we're we're a scorned bunch here.
Oh
we're
yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
It's
We're
not over
terrified.
till it's over when you're a Purdue fan.
So it seemed like going into this game, Dylan, there's a lot of nerves from the Purdue fans, and now I wonder if that's going to transition to a little bit of cockiness. Wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me to see that at all.
You saw towards the
Um,
end, Zach had a little, the chest bump during in between, or right at a call to timeout. I think we called a timeout, and they took down Lance Jones, and Edie gave him a little chest bump to the shoulder, and Zach's showing, I think, more cockiness than he ever has. He's never been like a cocky player, as in when it comes to like trash talk and stuff like that. But this season, you've seen a little bit of it in the first game of the tournament. He's definitely shown a little swagger, as the kids say.
yeah, yeah, I agree. So a comment here. Love TKR in the second half. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that we don't necessarily realize how good of a player TKR is. And I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter during the game. Dylan, I'm sure you probably saw it as well. People were kind of bashing him there in the first half a little bit,
yeah,
not bashing, but lightly criticizing, I guess
yeah.
we should say. But I feel like TKR is a really good player. We saw that when he came off the court, he just kind of had his way. I just think when you're on the court with Edie a lot, you're not going to get the opportunities, and
Well, yeah.
yeah, he showed it. But what Dylan, what did you think about the lineup tonight? We saw a lot of Miles Colvin, 12 minutes from him, a lot of Cam Heidi, 22 minutes from him, and only
Yeah.
2 minutes from Ethan Morton, which didn't really reflect what we've seen for the majority of the season here, but. Just wanted to get your take. Do you like that lineup? Do you like the having the more athletic wings in there, even though they're younger or less experienced? I thought that was an interesting decision by Painter.
For sure.
Obviously, it went our way, but just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, Colvin had a lot of minutes in. I mean, if he would have landed that dunk, oh my goodness gracious. I jumped out of my chair, but he didn't even make it. I would have liked to seen more Ethan Morton, just because I like Ethan Morton. That's pretty much my basis, but I think he brings a good amount of energy to the floor. So I hope we see a little bit of Ethan Morton. I think he only had one assist in the entire game, but like you said, he didn't play much. Braden looked really good, even coming off the calf strain. I don't know exactly what they called it, but I was happy to see him healthy and at him. Um, yeah, I hope to see more Ethan. I just think he's a good energy guy, brings a good amount of it to on the floor. And Cody here is right, Zach. And I texted this before in the group chat, which is an easy take, right? Is Zach Edey's going to go off? And he did. 30 points, uh, 21 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, the guy just went bananas. And like the noodle said, is it cockiness or is he just pissed? I think it's a little bit of both. I think Zach Edey wasn't going to go into this game and not give 110%. He always does, but especially a game like this after last year, there's no way in hell he was going to let Purdue walk out with another historic loss. It just wasn't going to happen. As much as nervous as we all were, I think a lot of us knew in the bottom of our gut was Edey wasn't about to repeat history. He's about to make history, and he's on a good route to do that this tournament. It's exciting to see.
Well, I think one thing that happened last year in the game we won't speak of in terms of the specific opponent we may have played, um, Braden had I think what 6 or 7 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
Tonight, zero turnovers for Braden, 10 assists, 0 turnovers. So that's good stuff. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see. It's crazy, Dylan. Braden went 3 for 9 from three. Do you remember him taking 9 threes?
I don't. I really
I
like
would have thought he went
genuinely
like
don't.
3 for 5. I
Yeah,
just I don't remember him taking 9 threes. I look at
that
that and
is
I'm like, when did he take 9 threes? But
wow.
I think he
That is
started
wild.
3 for 3 or maybe 3 for 4. He hit three
He
to
had a
start
hot hand
scoring.
there for a little bit. Yeah. Wow. Ninth. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. They got a comment here. Hey DK, those Orlando Magic shorts were lucky tonight.
They
Yeah.
are lucky, and I will be wearing them every game this
Yeah. Is
tournament,
that what
no
it was?
doubt.
You wear the Magic shorts tonight?
Yeah, I did. What I tweeted that I have the Orlando Magic shorts on, and
Nice.
let's hope the Magic shorts are magic. And so far, so good. So it looks like I'm gonna be wearing those every day this tournament for sure.
Got a comment here. Played a little nervous to start, but water found its level. Purdue controlled the game. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel
Led the
like
whole game.
I feel like there was that one possession, man, in the first half where, I forget the gentleman's name from Grambling State, Jordan or Jonathan Aku, but
Yeah.
he like had Edey hooked the entire possession, and I
Oh
feel
my
like
god,
Gainbridge Fieldhouse lost its mind.
they're about
And
to
it's like
riot.
I mean it was bad. And I'm never going to blame the outcome of a game on officiating either way. But I just thought that was pretty crazy. But once we kind of settled into a groove, we were hitting from outside. Lance Jones hit a couple threes. That one, I as soon as it went off his hand, I said no, don't shoot it, and then it went in. I mean, he does that, but it was just a great. I mean, it's hard to look at the box score and say, okay, it was a balanced game. When you have one guy with 30, but Braden with 11. Fletch was, what from the floor was 3 for 4 from the floor.
Yeah.
Heidi with 8 points. And I mean, just some huge defensive plays. It was just a great team effort. So
Yeah, I mean the Purdue hate I hope is a lot more quiet tonight than it has been. Oh, 5-0 goes to never heard of him before.
yeah, he said, sorry, I'm not around. They said the Edey post game was 2 sentences. The man is focused. Yeah. Speaking of post game press conferences, did you happen to hear what the guy said last night from Oakland in the
No.
post game? So I guess I didn't see it, but apparently they went to interview him, and all he said was, "We're not Cinderella." And
Oh,
turned
that's right.
around and
Yeah, I do
walked
remember
away.
that.
Yeah, want to welcome in Sonny.
What
Sonny,
up,
good win
Sonny?
tonight, fellas. 1/6 of the way there for the third matchup of the season. Yeah, I would love to see that. And I was an awesome win for the Illini. I'm 100% on the let's had the Big Ten make a run all around. Nebraska unfortunately fell tonight, but I'm hoping for a deep run for the Illini as well, because as a conference we have to do a little bit better, just to put it bluntly. So
Yeah.
sipping
Oh,
on
yes.
anything in particular after tonight's win?
You were crushing seltzer waters, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't drink much besides water, unless I'm having like a glass of wine or something. But no, nothing crazy. I just got my bottle of water here.
I was
I
crushing
may,
ginger ales. So I mean,
yeah, I
but
may.
Chris over there has like his own bar in his basement. And it's a legitimate bar. Like it's pretty wild. The Poppins
Yeah.
Pub, which I think I got their sticker right there. We're rolling with it. I got their hat somewhere. I gotta wear that more.
Yeah, I feel like tonight warrants a good glass of scotch. So it's a good scotch
There's
kind of night.
definitely reward. We all deserve a reward. That is for sure.
So Noodle looks like he's having a big glass of Bulliet. Awesome, good stuff.
Bulliet.
As a resident of the state of Kentucky, I'm familiar with that very well.
Sounds
Sonny,
fancy.
appreciate that. We're all on the same team now. We disagree, and our teams play each other, and we don't like each other. From the sports standpoint during the season, and then postseason, we're all just rooting for the Big Ten. So Michigan State got the win. I'm sure everyone knows. Who else? Dylan? Illinois obviously got the win, as we talked about.
Nebraska took a loss.
Nebraska did take the loss, and I feel like I'm forgetting Northwestern had a huge win today.
Yeah,
Huge
they
win
did.
today for Northwestern. Man, Florida
Northwestern's being
Atlantic just couldn't
sneaky.
hold on to the ball. Like every time they got it, they were like, "Here you go," and just gave it right back. They had like 20 turnovers or something.
I love this time of year. It's even better when we're winning, but
I got a comment here. I feel like we are a take no prisoners attitude this year
oh
tournament.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, there's definitely, we're definitely putting everything out on the line. It seems like. Let me get through some comments here. Have a glass of Blue Label for the Final Four. Good stuff.
ooh, I can't say that
Happy
word
to
yet.
hear.
I can't
Happy to
say the
hear.
FF word yet.
No.
I can't say it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Hey,
if
well,
they
you know
do,
what?
oh,
Yeah, you're gonna be drinking it regardless, right? Whether Purdue's there or not. But
yeah,
I hope
the
that's
other
the
way
case.
around,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna drink it a little quicker.
Yeah, there might be more than one if Purdue's
Some
not
tears
there.
thrown in there too.
Going with Will It Rye. Let's go. Man. Dylan, I feel like I'm not celebrating like I should be. All these
Mm, I don't have a cigar. I mean, I do have
yeah,
cigars, but I don't have one lit up.
yeah, I
I'm
got my
saving those.
humidor right here. Sits right
Oh
next to
yeah,
me. So
that's
yeah.
right. Look at this humidor
And
test.
Sonny has
It's
informed us
incredible.
Wisconsin is not off to a great start. Yeah, I kind of went stopped looking at scores when the Purdue game started. So let's see. Oh yeah, okay. James Madison is up on Wisconsin by 7 right
Ooh,
now.
ooh, ooh.
7 minutes to go in the first half. But that's a popular upset.
Man, that's a
Uh,
late game.
that's a popular upset pick, honestly.
Yeah, JMU, they're tough. I haven't, watched much of them, but from what I've heard, they're pretty tough.
So now I just looking at a text here, Dylan. Apparently, Seth Davis is now defending Purdue.
How the
So,
tables turn.
comment here. Question: who do we want to face, TCU or Utah State? Personally, I would rather play Utah State.
Really? Yeah.
That being said, I think TCU is going to win. I just think TCU is a little bit more battle tested. They've played a tougher schedule. The Big 12 is really good this season. As we've seen. Um, I think that Utah State would be an easier win for Purdue. Not saying it's going to be an easy game by any means, but when we look at Utah State's schedule, I mean, I'm trying to pick out what their best win is. Colorado State, that's their biggest win. So I just think that when you haven't been as battle tested, that kind of rears its head in the tournament at times. But
Yeah.
it's definitely not a team that I would overlook by any means. But that's who I would rather face between the two.
I'm nervous to play anybody.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Seth Davis is a clown. He is a clown. I tweeted yesterday that he is on my shit list, and now he's kind of trying to make up for it. But joke's on you, Seth Davis. So far,
it's
so good.
it's really difficult for me to figure out who is not just trying to get like clicks and
Yeah,
interaction and that kind of stuff. These days, like I'm trying to think of a talking head or a personality who just shares facts.
it's hard.
I can't really
I
think of
can't
one.
watch. It's hard for me to watch halftime shows anymore, especially when it's having to deal with Purdue. Because like you said, I feel like it's less logical takes, more what's going to gain attention on social media,
Yeah,
and it's tough. It's
Chris
tough to
Chris in the
watch.
comments makes a good point. John Rothstein's probably one of the
Yeah,
few
he's a
that I
good one.
still yeah.
Death taxes, Matt Painter.
Yeah, I do like him. I like his podcast, and yeah, he doesn't really seem to be out there looking for interaction. And I know there's a popular college basketball podcast that our listeners may or may not heard of, but they're gonna have a this is why Purdue can win it all video by the end of the
Yeah,
night tonight. I'm sure Billis isn't terrible in my opinion.
no, I don't
I don't
mind
know.
him.
I don't mind him. Yeah, he's okay. He just it's not his personality; it's his voice. I have trouble getting past this. Like I know that sounds weird.
Van Gundy, I had tried trouble following Van Gundy tonight.
Yeah, the one thing he said about Grambling is showing other teams how to defend Purdue. I'm like they didn't really do a good job. Like I mean, Edie had a 30-20 game. I mean,
Yeah,
and I thought it was an interesting interview with Grambling's head coach where he said that like we're just gonna let Edie get his and guard the other guys. I'm like, well, that's okay. I mean, just
bold.
yeah. I mean, I get it. Like you just got to do something. So
Well, yeah, if you can't guard Zach, then you're kind of screwed. but Fanta, is that the drink or something else?
John Fanta, I believe, is who he's
Okay.
talking about. Looks like the haters are jumping on the bandwagon. Um,
The words Purdue and bandwagon in the same sentence are
yeah.
that's odd.
So
From, like,
is it?
lifelong Purdue guys, it's weird.
Are you saying that we have more haters? That like the amount of haters is growing, or
Oh, there's so many people that hate Purdue right now, and I don't know, obviously, I don't get it, I'm a Purdue fan, but, a lot of people don't seem to like Edie, but also, when you're good, there are gonna be a lot of people that hate you. That's just the nature of the beast, especially in college sports. When you're, good, I mean, look at Alabama. Like, I'm not comparing Purdue to Alabama by any stretch of the imagination, but look at how many people hate them just because they're Alabama. I
mhm.
mean, when you're good, you're gonna get hated. That's the nature of beast. Because like I've seen a lot of people try to just Purdue people specifically on Twitter, fighting people that are just hating on Purdue, and it's like, man, it's a waste of time. Just relax, let them talk their shit, and at the end of the day, hopefully Purdue shuts them up. We as fans can't shut them up. The only people that can shut them up are the guys on the floor. So let's let them do the talking.
I think the noodle summed it up here. No one hates the bad teams, right?
Well, we hate Indiana, but
No one, no one hates the bad players either.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
I love Edie's response to like, how do you handle people booing you and cheering when you miss a shot? And he's like, well, that means I'm doing something right. I'm
Yeah,
like, what? Yeah, it's
he's got
really
to figure out the free throws though. That's
yeah.
my
I
only
mean,
worry is
that's
free
what
throws.
that's probably the biggest area of criticism tonight. I mean, if you're gonna make me say something, 13 for 22 at the line's not great.
Yeah,
Would like to see that number around 17, minimum. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, just that's me getting really nitpicky. One thing as I look at the box score is no points from Gillis. He did miss his only two shot attempts. They were both wide open threes, but
Yeah.
he's not the guy that's going to force anything if it's not there either. I thought they did a pretty good job of defending him, but I'm not gonna nitpick too hard on that. Um,
Oh, Nick
preach,
Burris is awake. I'm preaching out here, Cody. I'm
yeah,
telling you.
preach. Free throws were rough. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Cody. They definitely can improve there,
And when
for sure.
you're in tough games against tough opponents, you got to make your free throws. You got to make your free. That's just a must.
So
It
how
may not
about
show
that?
as bad in this game, but when you're playing other better teams, it's gonna show.
How about that foul where he wrapped Edie and tried to like throw him down, but then like
They
put his hand the flagrant right, but then he
Yeah,
put his hands up like, hey, oh yeah, I didn't do anything. Don't look over here. And if they didn't call that a flagrant, I would have been very upset.
I on the announcement they were the commentators were saying he didn't pull him down, and he didn't pull him, but there was a little pull there. I it's hard to get a
Oh,
guy like Zach Edey to hit the deck. I feel like, but I from what I saw, when you have a guy around his chest and you kind of pull him and then he releases and he's like, I didn't do anything, but I don't know. I digress.
yeah, the that's I remember like that's so one thing you're taught is like don't ever like do that like
Yeah,
because that like it's like well you definitely did something there but
that you're guilty.
um yeah so I look at I'm just looking at the box score for interesting things so let me see Tremichael Moten so their leading scorer Grambling's leading scorer tonight he also had the lowest plus minus of anyone on the team but he was also the leading scorer so this is why we don't give any merit to plus minus kids that's why we don't give any merit Tar Heels for life. See y'all in the championship. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Welcome in
Would
North
love that.
Carolina.
Would love to see Armando Baycott and Edie go at it again like they did in high school. That'd be a lot of fun.
Ooh,
That'd
that
be
would
that'd
that
be
would be
really
a hell of a matchup. That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
The two have played each other in college. Purdue came away victorious in that one.
Yeah.
That was the Cheez It tournament, right?
Oh, the Cheez-Its.
Where all the players were eating Cheez-Its at
Yeah.
the end. But
The football version of the Cheez-It Bowl did not go nearly as well as the basketball version,
yeah,
but
that was so weird. I was there for that one, and
I
they
almost
had
flew
this
down to that one. Glad I
they
didn't.
had the Cheez It emerge from this box where there were fireworks everywhere, and it was like dancing and stuff. And I still have the video of like this, like what is going on? Like this Cheez Its emerging from this box of fire. My
Oh,
wife's like,
man.
"How's it not catching on fire?" I'm like, I don't know. It's really weird.
Cheez-It magic is what that is.
Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. So Dylan, I know I know before the game, a lot of the Purdue fan base was just extremely anxious. The last couple of days on Twitter have been a roller coaster. People have been very scared, very afraid. How'd you feel before the game, and how are you feeling now? You know, how's that transition? Are you feeling the same as you did before the game? Or are you less nervous than you were? Or I mean, just how have the last 24 hours been for you, just with all this?
I was a little nervous. I wouldn't even say nervous. It's more of just anxious. I just wanted to get the game going. You know, it got delayed to 7:59. Why not just make it 8? I don't know. But it was more of impatience, just wanting to get the game going and get things rolling. I know in our group chat we were pretty nervous. A lot of us, a lot of the guys were. I know Chris was saying he was about to vomit. So we had some nerves.
Well,
Uh
and Chris was the one who was cool as a cucumber, right?
up
For them for
yeah,
the vast majority of, the last few days. And it
until
wasn't
tip.
until like 5 minutes before tip off that he's like, "Okay, I'm nervous now."
It's all right, it's hit me.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now I feel the fact that not only did Purdue win, but they won by the margin they did, and so much so that you get the bench guys on with 2 minutes to go in a tournament game. I mean, that's a big deal. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. I'll be anxious no matter what. Like it's
Mhm.
just the nature of March Madness and the uncertainty and the madness that it is. But I feel good, and I'm glad. I think the guys are probably pretty relieved to get this off their back and get the FDU and all that nonsense comments out of here. But I feel great, man, and I think what they showed tonight was promising. And I think really it's they're not there to bullshit. They're there, as the kids say nowadays, standing on business. They're there to mess some shit up in the best way possible. And so I don't know. I'm excited. Frank, how you feeling?
No, I definitely was nervous before the game. I couldn't imagine what the players are going through. I know they're going to exude confidence, right? They're going to put on that facade. Just wondering if it was real or not. If they were actually, were thinking back to last season. But I mean, really from the get go, they look fairly poised.
Yeah,
There were just a few little miscues in the first half, but like I said a few minutes ago, I felt like they were going to come out in the second half and just kind of put it away. And it was good to see Purdue win how Purdue should have won, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah,
It was nice to see Carson Barrett come in and hit a three,
yeah,
to be able to win a tournament game in that fashion. So yeah, I feel a lot better than I did. I think I was good. And you got a comment here, Dylan. Does the lower production from Lance Jones worry anyone? Um, when I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the game because I didn't watch it with the intense eye that I normally do. Just it was pure emotion tonight.
yeah,
But as I look at the box score, he was 2 for 4 from three, 2 for 6 from the floor. I think he missed one in transition. He missed a free throw. I mean, it w- it wasn't like he went 1 for 8 or something like that. He went 2 for 6, which isn't terrible.
yeah,
Braden went 4 for 10. I just think that between him and Fletcher and really Mason, one of those guys is just gonna have a low scoring night almost every
yeah,
single game. The fact that TKR had 11 as well, I just think that those are opportunities that wouldn't usually go to Lance instead. And they just didn't fall his way tonight. And I would rather him not take a ton of shots if they're not there.
yeah.
I mean, that first three he hit was, as we said a few minutes ago, not a great shot. But no, I'm not concerned. I think we know what Lance Jones can do. He's really good on the defensive end, so no, I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm not either. I think he'll show up. I mean, and he didn't do bad tonight, right? Like it's not like he went 0 for a million. Like it was a slow night, but everyone else was on fire, so it kind of evened out.
Yeah, we saw a few that when Colvin came down the court in that dunk attempt, like I could tell he wanted to score. Like
Yeah,
he
he
had
did.
just gotten a really, really tough rebound. Like the score, there was the big margin in the scoring at that time. Like I just knew he was gonna try to do something. I think he'll learn that his minutes will grow as he continues to just kind of play within the offense. But
Yeah.
really, just a really, really good outing from Colvin tonight as a whole. Thought he looked really good. Had a comment. I think it helped that the game was in Indy. Yeah,
Oh, for
I would
sure.
love to know from anyone who was there how the atmosphere was. I'll actually be there on Sunday, so I'll be able to
Oh,
comment on
good.
that. personally.
The
Um,
pregame, photos of the lobby at, Bankers Life Conseco, whatever the hell it's called now. It's not called either of those,
Gainbridge,
is it? Cambridge. I was 0 for
Gainbridge.
2. The crowd that was lining up to get into the game was electric, and, my brother sent me a text halfway through the game, or halftime, or no, well, it was when we started breaking things open, and he said, "What would happen if Purdue lost this game while it being in Indianapolis?" Like, I with the crowd they had, I mean, luckily we didn't, and that we don't even have to think about that. But I think, I mean, a good crowd always helps. I mean, these guys are used to playing in front of big crowds. They're not used to playing in empty gyms. So, yeah, I think the having the home cooking helped a lot. The You could hear them at least on television. The crowd was good, and like I said, those pregame photos of people lining up to get their tickets scanned was awesome, and it
Yeah,
just shows that Purdue faithful are pretty damn strong.
it'll be really nice when they announce what time the game is on Sunday or the other game. So
Yeah,
I'll be going to both games on Sunday. Just would like to know that. Would like to be able to plan and figure out what time I need to leave and all that. But I'm sure we'll know
yeah.
probably
How
by
long of a drive
tomorrow.
is that for you?
It's about an hour and a half for me,
Yeah, it's
so
not bad.
not bad. And I wonder, last season Purdue lost in Columbus. I just wonder how big of a showing Purdue had in Columbus,
Well,
because
that's
that
a
was
good
one
point.
I actually considered going to
I
personally,
should have
but I
gone. It's like
couldn't.
an hour away. Hour half, hour and a half, hour 45, give or
Yeah,
take.
I actually had an obligation that night, so I watched it on my phone, or else I realistically would have gone. But yeah, I don't know how I would have recovered from that if I'd been there. So
Man,
it's
I
probably a good
like
thing I didn't go.
my family, my friends are like, "Let's go to this restaurant, watch the game there." I'm like, I can't. I would get kicked out. I can't, I can't put myself in that position where I'm watching Purdue play a tournament game nonetheless in public. I can't do it. I act like a madman.
So I'm looking at some shot chart numbers here. Grambling was 8 for 26 on mid-range twos. And it definitely felt like, just the feel of the game, that they were like 14 for 26.
Yeah.
Like, they just felt like they were hitting every mid-range they put up. They were 43% at the rim. They were perfect in the paint, actually, which is really interesting. But Purdue was 50% on mid-range twos. They were 2 for 4. So Purdue took 4 mid-range shots to Grambling's 26. Um, Purdue was 8 for 21 above the break, 1 for 3 in the corner threes. Um, Almost 50% of Grambling shots were mid-range twos. And it was really interesting to me how many times they were on the perimeter and took no more than 2 steps inside the line and then shot it.
Yeah.
It just made no sense to me.
Yeah.
But they're doing what they've been coached to do, and that there's a scheme they're trying to execute. But just looking at their shot chart, total, there are so many dots that are just inside the 3-point line. I know they don't shoot a ton of threes, but that's an interesting thing that I noticed in the game.
Yeah, and
That's
the commentators brought it up multiple times how Edie exhausted the man that was guarding him. Can't think of his name, but that dude was just gassed. And then he's got Will Berg that comes in. He's like, "Oh, I grade another 7-footer." Like,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Yeah. Purdue fans know that luxury very well.
Yeah.
Just
And
swapping out 7-footers. Yeah,
even Van Gundy was like, "How many 7-footers does this team have? Like, where do they find these guys?
and one
Painter's
thing I
got a
thought was
factory."
interesting, I think it was what Van Gundy said, is that Grambling is showing the other teams in the tournament how to defend Purdue, and it's like that's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about all the teams Purdue's played that are in the tournament: Michigan State multiple times, Wisconsin 3 times. We played Arizona, we played Tennessee, we played Marquette, we played Gonzaga, Nebraska. I mean, we played all these tournament teams, Illinois multiple times. But like, yes, Grambling. And I'm not speaking negatively about Grambling by any means. I'm just saying, like, if teams haven't figured out a game plan in terms of how they want to guard Purdue by now, and they have to look at this game 30 plus games into the season, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
That's
That's a
rough.
that's just a silly thing to say, in my opinion.
Van
Yeah.
Gundy just reaching for something.
Yeah.
That
Purdue
is
had
tough.
a 1.3 points per possession tonight. So if that's how you do it, then that's not the best way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Cody here in the comments. You do have to tip your hat to Grambling. They showed some fight. Yeah, they never gave up. They never gave up. And especially in the beginning when it was close, that they were playing hard, and
Yeah.
even with 2 minutes to go, they were still playing just as hard. So definitely a really good team, a well coached team. We saw what they did to Montana State. I think they were down 14 or 15 and came back and
Yeah.
won that one. So just can't.
I'm
It's not
glad we didn't play
Montana's.
Montana State because I would call them everything but Montana.
It was Montana State. Now I'm questioning myself. Now,
You're pulling at me.
no, I'm
I
looking. Okay, it is Montana State. I'm like, was it
okay.
Missouri State? Yeah, all those
No,
M
because I
states.
kept calling them Missouri State in our group chat.
That's what it is. Yeah, you've
My
got
bad,
me
it's on me.
confused, Dylan.
What I do best. So let's real quick bring up our sponsors, our lovely sponsors. Starting off with Martin Vintage, the best in the game today when it comes to Purdue vintage Purdue shirts. Any vintage logo, every vintage logo you love, Martin Vintage has it. Go to martinvintage.com and use the code BXP at checkout for 10% off. Tell them we sent you. They're a great Purdue family-owned business, and they just so happen to crank out some incredible shirts. CBB Analytics, the sponsor of Frank's Big Brain when it comes to everything stats. Their website, if you check them out, they're absolutely incredible. They have every stat you could ever imagine. And as a guy like myself who's terrible at numbers, it literally blows my mind. They have great coverage there. You can get a Purdue specific subscription, right? And then you can also get a broader, the entire NCAA. And then, of course, Cincy Blitzboards, our homies over there. They're a Boilermaker owned company. They're in Cincinnati. Great group of folks. Out of their garage, they'll make you anything and everything. It's a great board game for tailgates, birthdays, bat mitzvahs, anything and everything you can think of. Cincy Blitzboards can make it for you. Great group over there. We're lucky to have all of those incredible sponsorships that help us out and send us free stuff, and we appreciate them for that. But yeah, no, I think everyone's happy in Purdue Kingdom. Let's hope that Sunday. What time is the TCU Utah State game tomorrow?
It's actually going on right now. TCU is up by
Oh, good.
3. 15 to go in the first half. That's actually what I was checking as you were shouting out our awesome sponsors there.
Shout out to the sponsors.
So that's going on right now. And as much as I enjoy this podcast still, and I feel like we should be doing our homework and checking out that game.
We got to go do our studies and study some basketball.
So that way we can do more podcasts in the future and know what we're talking about, right?
Hopefully, I think we post game Sunday is possible. I know you'll be there. Maybe we can get some of the other guys, and maybe we'll get a man on the streets there in Indianapolis, and we get Frank in from Conseco Fieldhouse of Bankers Life.
Man, that was like multiple names ago. You can call it Market Square Arena.
I'm just gonna combine all of them and just start calling it that. But yeah, it's good having everybody. Thank everyone for tuning in. To be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere and anywhere, especially on Twitter, I think is where we're most active, and especially where we'll be active during the tournament and during not only Purdue games, but other games. So be sure to give us a follow. We'll talk to you guys again, hopefully on Sunday, and boiler up forever. And let's hope we're on to something special, which I think we are. So boiler up, hammer down, hail Purdue. We'll see you guys on the flip side.